Bonjour, comment allez-vous? This is the Crypto Kid podcast, and today we're going to discuss MicroStrategy's trillion dollar macro strategy. Once again, that's a tongue twister. MicroStrategy's $1 trillion macro strategy, a Bitcoin bank. So let's get started. Welcome, everybody. This is Saturday, October 12th, 2024. I'm your host, the Crypto Kid, and this is Crypto Kid TV. And we're getting started. First things first, Bitcoin is up to the price of 63,128 US dollars as the market senses that we are ready for another bull run prior to the November 5th, 2024 presidential election. Many people are wondering, why is the market so positive? Let's look at quite a few factors. If we look at the presidential race, Donald Trump is ahead in many polls, at least by 20 points. If you take the minimum, the most negative polling, they have Donald Trump up 3 or 4 points. However, the market still loves that because Donald Trump and his two sons, Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr., have formed a company, World Liberty Financial, and the intent is um, to have Bitcoin ETFs. Donald Trump has already made over 30. It's reported that Donald Trump has made over $30 million with Bitcoin meme coins. And so now going into Bitcoin ETFs, DeFi's is a major move. Two market makers, two major players, BlackRock, they've already had their Bitcoin ETF approved by the SEC, as well as MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor. This leads us into the fact that Michael Saylor is a visionary. He is, first of all, the company was formed in 1989. And this is a software company, and today his company is totally something different. MicroStrategy, a software company, has become synonymous with Bitcoin thanks to the bold investments of CEO Michael Saylor. Once known as a business intelligence firm, has transformed a company into the vision to build $1 trillion Bitcoin bank. But the question immediately is begged, how did they get there? And what's the plan? And why is Michael Saylor so confident in Bitcoin's future? For those of you guys who don't even know Michael Saylor, or you know of his face, but you don't know his background, Michael Saylor is a tech entrepreneur who founded MicroStrategy in 1989. While his company initially focused on data analytics, it was in 2020 that Saylor made headlines by making a radical step and changing the strategy, investing MicroStrategy's cash reserves into Bitcoin. And he was heavily criticized by taking that position because it was in August 2020 at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Saylor has been described as a visionary similar to Steve Jobs of Apple, someone who sees Bitcoin as not just a digital asset, but as a revolutionary form of money capable of storing value much better than even gold or other asset classes. Me, I'm a Bitcoin enthusiast, but when it comes to being better at Bitcoin than gold, one has to ask that question: is that possible? Even me, and I know if you watch Crypto Kid TV on a regular basis, I know I make a lot of bold statements, but Bitcoin being more secure in storing value than gold, well, gold doesn't really deteriorate physically. So its value, he's going to have to explain that one to me. Nevertheless, in August 2020, MicroStrategy made its first Bitcoin purchase buying $250 million worth of BTC. So let's go to this. How many companies do you know, first of all, that have 250 million US dollars in cash reserves? Not too many. So it's logical that the market would really question Michael Saylor's sanity if he would take $250 million in cash reserves and invest it into BTC. Over the following months, they continued buying, often during market dips, eventually amassing over 152 BTC. And the investment was $4.5 billion. But if we take 152,000 BTC units and multiply it by 63,128 US dollars, which is the equivalent of one BTC, we get 9,576,000,000. Therefore, MicroStrategy's current net profit is at least $5 billion. What is Michael Saylor's strategy? It's simple: buy and hold, just as Warren Buffett would recommend. He believes that Bitcoin is a form of digital gold, and MicroStrategy is willing to hold this gold, this digital gold, indefinitely. But then you're probably asking, why Bitcoin and why not Ethereum or Binance Coin or Dogecoin? Saylor's core belief is that Bitcoin is the best way to protect value over the long term. He sees that traditional fiat currencies such as the US dollar are depreciating assets eroded by inflation, and Bitcoin as a finite, decentralized alternative. According to Saylor, Bitcoin has unmatched properties as a store of value. Its 21 million supply cap, decentralization, and resistance to censorship by governments makes it the most secure asset for long-term wealth preservation. Going to take a sip of water here. Now, I found this on the internet. This is a quote from Michael Saylor. If you want to preserve your wealth for 100 years, Bitcoin is the only option. And that's a very bold statement, but I'm supporting that statement. I'm very confident in the future of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, and I support that statement. MicroStrategy's Bitcoin strategy goes beyond just investment. It's now a key part of the corporate treasury. Instead of holding cash that is continually losing value from attacks from BRICS in the UK, MicroStrategy holds Bitcoin, betting that it will appreciate in the long run. In fact, Michael Saylor encourages other companies to adopt his same strategy. So this guy's not even being selfish. He's being totally transparent about what he's doing, and he's very confident that his strategy is going to work. He sees Bitcoin as a corporate asset that can strengthen balance sheets and protect against inflation. And I definitely support that. I mean, if you're holding on to the US dollar right now, the UK and the euro are constantly attacking the US dollar. And now you have BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And now they are attacking the US dollar. Here's another clip from Saylor. Every company needs to convert their balance sheet from a melting ice cube of US dollars into solid stone. And Bitcoin is that stone. Now, he's not saying US dollars, but most companies are holding it in US dollars. So, if they're holding it in the euro, which makes no sense, you should convert to Bitcoin. Now, Saylor has an even bigger vision. He wants to turn MicroStrategy into a $1 trillion Bitcoin bank. And You're asking, like, what does that mean? Essentially, Saylor believes that Bitcoin's value will continue to grow, reaching into the trillions, and that MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings will become incredibly valuable. Saylor is already seeing across the world Bitcoin adoption. And as this adoption continues, Saylor foresees a world where Bitcoin becomes the dominant global reserve asset away from the US dollar. And MicroStrategy, with its significant Bitcoin reserves, could become a powerhouse in the financial system. But, and there's always a but, preferably big. This strategy is not without risk. Bitcoin is notoriously volatile, as we've seen over the last 8 years, and MicroStrategy's stock price has been mirrored to Bitcoin swings. In addition, there's regulatory concerns. Governments may adopt the US policy of clamping down on Bitcoin, imposing stricter regulations on cryptocurrencies, and also possibly taking bold steps such as indicting a lot of Bitcoin trading platforms. At the current time, the Asian countries fully embrace, as well as the government fully embrace Bitcoin. Germany embraces Bitcoin. Australia now is joining in. So it's just a matter of time before the rest of the UK joins in this party. Still, Saylor remains unfazed. His response to volatility is that it's temporary and necessary for Bitcoin's growth. And I definitely concur with that statement. I mean, if you don't have any zigzagging and up and down and up and down, you can't just have it going straight up. And if it just goes straight down, it's going to eventually hit to zero. So you can't have that as well. Still, Saylor believes that in the long term, Bitcoin will stabilize as it becomes more widely adopted and accepted by governments and put into use for transactions. And this is another quote from Saylor, so you don't think it's me. I found this on the internet. Volatility is the price you pay for performance. And I'm going to begin using that statement because that's a very poignant statement. You can't achieve extraordinary gains without accepting some level of risk. I'm going to accept that as well. I have a lot of people that want to work with me and they don't want to invest anything because they're afraid of risk. But as we all know, our grandparents taught us, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Michael Saylor's leadership has completely transformed MicroStrategy's identity from a software company to a Bitcoin centric business with a bold vision for the future. Saylor's gamble could go down as one of the greatest corporate strategies in history. And when it comes to MicroStrategy's $1 trillion Bitcoin bank strategy and will it succeed, well, only time can tell. So far, it's paying off right now. One thing is for certain, Saylor and MicroStrategy have firmly positioned themselves as pioneers in the digital asset revolution. So when Bitcoin does take off and is accepted, Saylor and MicroStrategy are positioned to be the largest Bitcoin bank out there. So with that, I'm going to end this podcast for today. If you have any questions, please leave some comments below. Also, if you want to get your Bitcoin and Ethereum education started, go to plumberuniversity.com/Bitcoin mastery and sign up for free. If you're interested in Ethereum, go to plumberuniversity.com/Cali Muscle and you can sign up for free there. Cali Muscle has his own Ethereum coin, and so we are working with Cali Muscle on strategies to promote his Ethereum coin. Look for also upcoming podcasts on digital wallet protections because it's also with all this technology, the easiest way to lose your wealth is to have your digital wallet hacked. And that is what is becoming very common. So be careful about that. We're going to continue to provide more podcasts to educate you on how to protect your digital wallet. Once again, you want to go to plummeruniversity.com/Bitcoin mastery. That's PLUMMER university.com/Bitcoin mastery. Also, in the description below of this podcast, you'll see the link below, and you can join there. All right. And remember, and now I feel even more confident with the support of a billionaire such as Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, the future is crypto.